one. It's all we're here to talk about. So I think he will eventually emerge this week to be the clear-cut number one.
Right.
16, I have Latavius Murray. I don't like Oakland, but I do like him. And Cincinnati's not any kind of juggernaut where they're going to be just getting blown out. I don't think that's going to happen. My number 17 is Isaiah Crowell, Browns running back against the Jets. Jets have a good defense, but I'm a Crowell guy. I draft him, and I have him actually in literally all three of my leagues. So I'm betting. I'm going. That's my Carson Palmer pick of this one. My number 18 pick is TJ Yeldon. He's at home against Carolina. Yeah, he's at home against Carolina. I don't think Carolina's that great. So again, where there's going to be any kind of blowout, the Jaguars went so far as to announce that Yeldon is their number one guy this year. That's good. Number 19 is Doug Martin, who I never thought I'd mention again after his rookie year, but he's at home against Tennessee.
Right.
I mean, Tennessee is awful. I think they're the worst team in football. I didn't mean to break this pen. So I do like Doug Martin. And my number 20, Frank Gore. By default, I'm not a Frank Gore guy at all. But again, in Buffalo's a tough defense. But I do think Indy's going to win this game. And for that, obviously, Gore will get some fourth quarter carries.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. Okay, number 11 for me, Mark Ingram at Arizona. I also like him high up there outside the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Number 12, I like Ellington. Like you said, I'm not high on him either, but he's going to catch a lot of balls, PPR. He can get you some points against the Saints. Number 13, I have Jamal Charles. If you didn't notice, I've left Jamal off this list.
I did.
I think there's some Chief fans out there that might not like that, but hey, look at that Houston Texans defensive line. It's scary, and I think they're going to have a good time shutting Jamal Charles down, at least for week one.
Mm-hmm.
After that, at 14, I got Carlos Hyde versus Minnesota. I'm not real high on Hyde, but I know a lot of people like him. So
I do like Hyde, but actually,
I gotta see what he can do first. But I'll throw him at 14 for now. Number 15, I have LaShawn McCoy versus Indianapolis. I don't like McCoy much at all this year. Maybe I'm just a bitter Eagles fan, but
you're very fair, because if you notice, I didn't mention him.
Right.
He's one of my guys. I forgot to mention the guys I didn't list with Tevin Coleman, Alfred Morris, LaShawn McCoy, Carlos Hyde. All guys I didn't put in my top 20 for various reasons, but no means interrupt.
I don't.
Yeah, with McCoy banged up,
Right.
they're gonna lose a game to Indy. I'm not a McCoy guy. At least this week, I'm not.
Yeah, I got him in the top 20 for now, but I could see him having a bad year. Number 16, I have a sleeper alert. I have him at 16, but I'll call him a sleeper right now. D'Angelo Williams on Thursday night.
Hey, like I said, this is week one.
Yeah,
that's all that matters is week one.
Yeah, D'Angelo Williams taking the place of Le'Veon Bell against the Patriots Thursday night. I don't expect Pittsburgh to throw it 100 times. I mean, I think they're going to give him the ball. I think they're going to pass him the ball. See what Le'Veon Bell did at the backfield last year. I think Williams if he can do half of what Le'Veon Bell did, I think he'll have a decent fantasy week one.
Mm-hmm.
Number 17, I have Amir Abdullah at San Diego. I know a lot of people are questioning how much work he gets week one. I think he emerges later in the season as a bigger role, but I wouldn't be surprised if he catches some passes from Stafford and he makes some big home run plays.
I agree with everything you just said. I do think he'll be better long-term than week one. The reason I didn't put him up there, and I did think about him, just I don't know what to expect.
Right, he's a
week
question.
one. I want to at least give me at
least
least 1 week of back, history before I can rank
It's so hard to predict what these guys are going to do in the first week, but I like Amir.
That's what we're here for.
Number 18, Melvin Gordon versus Detroit. Once again, he's another rookie. You don't know how he's going to come out week one, but I think the Chargers will use him decently. Number 19, I have your boy Jonathan Stewart at Jacksonville. I love Jonathan Stewart this year. I'm not having him at 19.
So what don't you like about his matchup against Jacksonville?
Honestly, I love Jacksonville as a defense this year. You said you picked up who'd you pick up this week in all your leagues?
My defense?
Yeah.
Vikings.
You picked the Vikings. I picked up the Jacksonville Jaguars in all my leagues this week. And I think
that's fair.
And I think
I do think Carolina's bad.
Right. I think this week against Carolina, they can be a huge sleeper defense. And for that fact, I have to roll with Jonathan Stewart not having too great of a game. But out of any Panther, I like him the most. And number 20, like you said, Doug Martin. I thought he actually died, but Doug Martin has emerged in the preseason.
His hamstring did, but he's still alive.
He emerged in the preseason. He's playing the Titans. So at number 20, I think that's a fair matchup.
Now, before I go any further, it's also my sleeper pick. And this is, again, off the cuff. I don't like him. I don't want him at all. But Dion Lewis, from what I'm hearing, is apparently going to be getting a lot of play for the Patriots.
Dion Lewis is somebody I picked up in 2 of my leagues. And like I said, I think he's good in PPR, and we'll see what he does. Maybe Belichick will run with him.
Yeah, so before we move to receivers, we do actually want to take a quick break, getting words from our sponsors. That it's a dire break here for the sponsors. So stick around. We'll be right back after the break. And again, if you want to chime in during the break, it's 267-563-2030. 2893 or tweet us at Sports Goombahs. We'll be right back.
Have damage to your house? Avoid the hassle. Just call Castle Public Adjusters. Get the edge on your insurance company. 215-752-1237. That's 215-752-1237. Or check them out at castlepa.com. Don't settle for less. Get the maximum for your claim. Castle Public Adjusters. 215-752-1237.
Receivers.
Hey, yo, Cassie, what are you doing?
I got plumbing problems here. I can't get the water to go down the drain. What am I going to do?
Call Guaranteed Plumbing, 215-342-7200 for all your plumbing needs. Serving the Philadelphia area and the greater Delaware Valley.
What was that phone number again?
215-342-7200.
I don't know if he's watching this.
Oh, yeah, oh.
All right, and we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. I got the rumor mill said that apparently the audio was not not coming out in the first 10 minutes of the show.
But you look good.
You can thank our amazing tech whiz over here. That's Cashy. Probably, I think he's just jealous because our show's just
Hey,
so amazing.
I think maybe somebody hacked in.
Wait, how about Amazing Cashy getting you back on?
He did. He fixed the problem in record time. You got to give him credit on that.
So just to recap, because apparently everything was missed. I'm gonna throw it out there quickly. I don't want to go too far. I don't want to run the show too long here. Quarterbacks, what I had Aaron Rodgers, number 1 he's playing against Chicago. Andrew Luck, number 2 at Buffalo. Tom Brady, number 3 at home against Pittsburgh. He's gonna be pissed. Number 4, Peyton Manning at home against Baltimore. Number 5, Ryan Tannehill at the Redskins. The Redskins are pathetic. Number 6, Sam Bradford at Atlanta. Number 7, Russell Wilson at St. Louis. My number 8 is Ben Roethlisberger at New England. Number 9, Tony Romo at home against the Giants. Number 10, Matt Ryan at home against the Eagles. 11 is Eli Manning at Dallas. And number 12 is Matt Stafford at San Diego, although I do not like Matt Stafford at all. Quarterbacks right now at that point.
Okay. And I had...
and also, I forgot before I cut you off. Sleeper, Jay Cutler. Do not start him, but if I have to give you a guy and you have 2 quarterbacks who are already on bye weeks in week 1, I don't know. Jay Cutler's the guy. And again, I didn't mention Drew Brees. I didn't mention Cam Newton. I don't like them this week. So there you go.
I think it might have been better off that no one heard that Jay Cutler in the beginning. I
know. I probably should have left that out. I know. I should have rethought my.
But hey, I got some guys out of the top 10, out of the top 12 that people aren't going to like, and hey, call in and let's debate it. But I got Rodgers at number 1 at Chicago. I got Matt Ryan number 2 against the Eagles. Got Big Ben number 3 at New England. Tommy Brady versus Pittsburgh number 4. Tony Romo versus the Giants at number 5. Sam Bradford at Atlanta number 6. Eli Manning at Dallas number 7. Ryan Tannehill at Washington number 8. Carson Palmer, my boy, who I drafted that no one liked, number 9 versus the Saints. And 10, I got Stafford at San Diego. Rounding out the top 11 and 12, I'll throw Luck in there, and I'll throw.
Well, it's really nice of you to throw Andrew Luck in there.
Yeah, I'll throw Luck and Brees.
It's real nice of you
if you're paying attention.
Casually mention.
Right. As you're paying attention to my top 10, I did not have Andrew Luck. I did not have Russell Wilson.
Do you guys think he's not going to have a good year?
Who?
Andrew Luck?
If you were paying attention about 45 seconds ago, I did mention he's my number 2 quarterback.
Number 2. Well, I mean,
I think he's gonna have a great year.
I have Luck ranked as my number 1 quarterback this year, but I just have respect for the Buffalo Bills, and
that much respect. He's not playing the 85 Bears.
I gotta know why all the respect for Buffalo.
I have a good defense.
I just think Buffalo's gonna.
They got a lunatic running the show over there.
I think Buffalo's gonna give him a lot of trouble. T.Y. Hilton's banged up. I think week one, Andrew Luck is not going to be what everybody expects. I like these guys better than him week one. It's not that he'll have a terrible game, but I'm just looking for.
There's certain guys who supersede their matchup, and I do think Luck is in that stratosphere where it doesn't really matter who he's playing.
He might prove me wrong, but I think
Superman is
going to be Clark Kent.
If like the 01 Ravens and or 2 years ago Seahawks came together and did an all-star team, I'd still start Luck against that defense.
I wouldn't. I respect the defense.
You really do respect them.
I respect Buffalo, and I have Andrew Luck out of my top 10. I have to do it. And my sleeper quarterback, I said earlier, Teddy Bridgewater. Look out for him. He's coming this year. And if you sleep on him too much, somebody else is going to pick him up in your league. So go get him.
Now, I don't know how far into the running backs. Apparently, we didn't hear the audio, but again, quickly throw them out there. I have number 1, Eddie Lacy at Chicago. Number 2, Jeremy Hill at Oakland. Number 3, DeMarco Murray at Atlanta. Number 4, Adrian Peterson at the Niners. Lamar Miller, number 5 at Washington. Marshawn Lynch, number 6 at St. Louis. Jamal Charles, number 7 at Houston. I just realized my top 7 running backs are all on the road. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Number 8, C.J. Anderson at home against Baltimore. Number 9, Matt Forte at home against Green Bay. And number 10, I have Jonathan Stewart at Jacksonville. And again, I know the audio is apparently not working, but stick with us on the site, sgshow.net. We will, of course, post all of these after the fact, so you can still follow it. That way, if you didn't hear it live, you'll still have it in time for this weekend's matchups. What do you got? Who's your top 10?
My top 10 running backs, I got AP at San Francisco. I got Eddie Lacy at Chicago, number 2. Jeremy Hill, number 3 at Oakland. Lamar Miller, number 4 at Washington. DeMarco Murray, number 5 at Atlanta. Justin Forsett, that's my boy in PPR. He's going to kill it this year, finish in the top 5 overall. Look out for him at Denver at number 6 this year. Number 7, C.J. Anderson versus Baltimore. Number 8, Marshawn Lynch at St. Louis. I'm not hating on you, Marshawn Lynch fans. I respect St. Louis. There's some defenses that are going to drop players down. St. Louis is one of them. Number 9, Matt Forte versus Green Bay. And my boy Chris Ivory versus Cleveland, number 10. He's going to get a workload. And if you're sleeping on him, he's going to kill you week 1. So pray you're not playing against Chris Ivy in week 1.
Now, I don't know, again, how long I went into, but I seconded your choice of Chris Ivory. I do like Chris Ivory this year.
I appreciate that.
And again, I don't like the Jets ever or Chris Ivory, but it's a good matchup and it's a good situation for him. Moving on to receivers, we're going to again throw up our 1 through 10 out here first. I have number 1. Again, it doesn't really matter the matchup. He's the best. Antonio Brown continue to be number 1. He's the number 1 receiver. My number 2 is Des Bryant at home against the Giants. They're going to throw the ball to him and him only, I think, all year. Number 3, Julio Jones. Against the Eagles, I do think they're going to trail a lot. Not a lot, but I think they're going to lose this game, so I think it's going to be a lot of Julio getting the ball. Number 4 is Randall Cobb at Chicago. As long as he's healthy, I mean, if he's playing, he's healthy. So if he's playing, which he's supposed to, he's going to. Number 4 against Chicago. Number 5, Odell Weapons Jr. At Dallas. I think that game's going to be a track meet.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of points in that game. Number 6, Demaryius Thomas at home against Baltimore. Be paid man as quarterback. End of story. Number 7, Jordan Matthews at Atlanta. If you told me 16 months ago, right after we drafted Jordan Matthews, that here we are going into week 1 of the next season, he's going to be a top 7 receiver to me. I never would believe it. I didn't like Jordan Matthews' pick at the time, but I like him now. I like him this week. My number 8 is AJ Green at Oakland. Enough said. Number 9, Calvin Johnson at San Diego. I don't really know what San Diego is this year. I really don't know if they're good or bad or average or what, but it's still Calvin Johnson, so I'll throw him out there as out of respect. Number 10, DeAndre Hopkins at home against the Chiefs.
Okay, we're pretty similar receivers. Number 1, Antonio, clear cut. Number 1 wide receiver. New England secondary no longer have Revis. I see Antonio getting a lot of work with Martavius Bryant out, Le'Veon Bell out. He's going to kill it. Number 2, Julio versus the Eagles. I hate to say it, but Julio, I think he's going to have a monster year.
I think he's going to have a monster year and a monster game.
I think he can challenge Antonio Brown for the leading league in points for receivers. Number 3, I got Des Bryant. As much as I hate him, I respect him at the New York Giants. He's going to just control them and do whatever he wants. Number 4, I have Randall Cobb as well. Like you said, Nelson out, Cobb's number 1. Rodgers is quarterback. I mean, what more don't you like? Number 5, ODB, also have him at number 5. At Dallas, I don't think he was a mirage. I think he comes back in, starts off, right where he left off last season.
It's a good defense to do it against.
And Dallas, like I said, I don't respect that defense at all. And number 6, I got Calvin. I guess I would just respect the legend of Calvin Johnson, Megatron, a little more than you do.
Did you see the video on YouTube? It was on Facebook and all that. It was
what was it?
The Madden 16 They did it was a show how amazing Calvin is. They did a defense where they did like the manual coverages and it covered all 11 men just on Calvin. So he's running a deep pattern and there's 11 guys around him. He still went up and got it.
That's awesome.
Just to show how dominant he was.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's healthy, Calvin is going to emerge this year. He wasn't drafted high, and I agree with, not going too high on him, but I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. So I have him at number 6. Number 7, I have AJ Green. AJ was hurt a lot last year. I think he comes back this year. He's starting off against Oakland. I mean,
it's a good place to start.
I think he has a big game this week. Number 8, I have Demaryius Thomas versus Baltimore. Normally, I have Thomas a lot higher than this, but I respect Baltimore. I'm not high on Peyton Manning. I need him to prove to me that at 40 years old, he can still do it. He lost arm strength, but we'll see. He's still Demaryius Thomas at number 8. Number 9, I like Julian Edelman versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh secondary, nothing special. Julian Edelman in the slot. I mean,
they're worse than nothing special.
Tom Brady's going to be looking at Edelman all night and just feeding him and Gronk, and I just see Edelman having a big game. Number 10, I have Cooks at Arizona. I was a little hesitant to put Cooks at number 10. I'm super high on him this year. Arizona has a great secondary. Patrick Peterson's probably going to be shadowing him all game, but I'm expecting Cooks to step up and really have a great game against Arizona.
I'll comment in a minute for what I think about that. No, I was just trying to think about how we can talk about Cooks, but I'll talk to him in a couple seconds.
I noticed he wasn't in your top
10. No, he was not, and I am a Cooks guy, as I mentioned last week. I'm a big Cooks guy.
Respecting the Arizona defense.
I am when he's going to be draped by Patrick Peterson, who's probably the best cornerback in football.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 11, I have T.Y. Hilton. I don't respect Buffalo as much as you do, but normally you would think the top target, for one of the top quarterbacks would be higher than that, but I just don't think I was never a Hilton guy, and Buffalo's defense is pretty good. My number 12, I have Devontae Adams at Chicago, just because eventually you can't throw to Cobb every play, and they're going to throw the ball. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be really ugly.
Run it up on
week 13. Number 13, I have Mike Evans at home against Tennessee. I just think Tennessee's that bad. I think Tampa Bay is gonna win this game. I think they're gonna win it pretty comfortably. I think Evans gonna have something to do with it. Number 14, I do have Julian Edelman. There I have checking in right there. Just like you said, I think Pittsburgh's defense is stinky. I think it's really bad. It's not the Pittsburgh of old. And Edelman's gonna catch at least 8 balls. My number 15, I have Alshon Jeffrey. If he plays, there's rumors he may not even play.
Right. Yes, I heard that too.
So literally, and I'm not even trying to say bump people up. If he doesn't play, just immediately slot.
Right.
What the hell is his stupid name? He'll come to me in a second. I forget their other dumb receiver, Eddie Royal. Just slide Eddie Royal into 15, and I hate Eddie Royal, but like I said, because they're going to throw so many times. If he's not playing, and sadly, Eddie Royal is your number 1. Royal's going to get a lot of catches. Number 16 is eventually, here's Brandon Cooks. Again, huge Cooks fan this year, but with Patrick Peterson on him, I don't like Cooks. I don't like it at all. My number 17, Jarvis Landry. Again, Dolphins against Skins. I think it's going to be an easy matchup there.
Mm-hmm.
My number 18, I have Brandon Marshall, home against Cleveland. Again, I don't really know what kind of offense is Jets, what they run really, but from what I hear, it's pretty spread. And they move the ball a lot, like the old school Rex Ryan, awful offense. So I like Marshall there. Emmanuel Sanders, number 19. I just think there's going to be some extra balls laying around after they finish beating up on Baltimore. And Sanders will catch some of them. My number 20, I hate him. I mentioned it last week and every week pretty much. I don't like Steve Smith Sr.
I know you hate him,
but I think they're gonna lose the game, so I think they're gonna have to throw. And he's always good for one of those stupid 45-yard touchdown catches.
There's not many targets in the receiver position in Baltimore.
Yeah, and so I do like Steve Smith for this week.
Right.
That's as far as I'll go. My sleeper pick, not that big of a sleeper, but Allen Robinson. I had to struggle to not put him in the top 20. I do think Allen Robinson's gonna have a good week. He's playing against Carolina. Notice some guys I did not list: Deshaun Jackson, Andre Johnson, Keenan Allen, Jeremy Maclin. They didn't cut my list. I think Jackson will score a touchdown, but the rest of the guys, yeah.
Okay.
If you're in a league with 3 receivers, they're all startable, of course.
Right. Yeah, we're just doing 20 here,
Mm-hmm.
so obviously there's a lot more starter receivers than 20 in your league if you're at a 12-man league.
Mm-hmm.
Number 11, I had Hopkins versus KC. I think Hopkins has a great year. We'll see how big of a year. I mean,
it's gonna be big.
He has high ceiling. Number 12, I actually have Eddie Royal at 12, and that's partially because I don't think Jeffries is going to play.
See, that's fair.
And
all
I
right.
think by default,
we're on the same page, kind of.
Yeah.
I say if Jeffrey doesn't play, slide Royal right in. That's just
right. I think Eddie Royal is going to get a lot of targets, and if you look at his stats last year, he wasn't bad. I actually like him a lot.
No, he wasn't
this year. Number 13, I have Jordan Matthews. I'm not as high on Matthews as you. I like him a lot. I think he's great at what he does, but I just think Chip loves to spread the ball around. I think he's going to run it more than he passes it, trying to keep Bradford healthy.
For Matthews, I think you're going to look at least 7 catches and touchdown.
Yeah, I can see that. I think Matthews is going to be a victim of Chip sharing the ball a little too much. Number 14, I have Landry at Washington. He's the number 1 target at receiver for Miami. I love Tannehill. There's no reason I don't love Landry this week. Number 15, I do have Jeremy Maclin in there against Houston. Houston's a great defense, but I think
I almost did put Maclin in there because I think week 1 they will break that streak of the touchdowns.
Right,
I think he will get one.
I think Maclin will score. I think Alex Smith has shown a lot of rapport with Maclin in the preseason that it's not just coincidence. I think that'll continue.
Yeah, I mean Smith. It wasn't just because he was awful last year. He was throwing touchdowns, just wasn't the receivers. And in fairness, his receivers were awful.
Right.
Dwayne Bowe is the number 1. He's not even a starter for Cleveland this year.
Yeah.
Just a year later, and you can't crack Cleveland's lineup.
I like Alex Smith as my starting quarterback in real life.
No, in real life.
In fantasy,
right.
not so much. But real life, I think he's a good quarterback. He doesn't make many mistakes, and I think he'll find Jeremy Maclin, who knows how to run routes very well. Number 16, I have my boy in there, Golden Tate. I realized you didn't have Golden Tate.
I didn't even put him in honorable mentions either.
He didn't.
That's how I feel about Golden Tate.
Hurt me inside when I heard that. But I have Golden Tate against San Diego at number 16. Number 17, I have Devontae Adams. I wasn't sure where I should put Devontae Adams on this list. I didn't want to go too high on him because he's still a little unproven. But
he definitely is.
I think moving forward, I wouldn't be shocked if Devontae Adams is.
And I really hope James Jones doesn't take some catches away because when I saw that signing, I was really upset about that.
James Jones had a decent
career
in Green Bay. And
a year or two ago, he was a legit number 2 receiver in fantasy.
Right. I don't think it hurts Devontae as much. I think it hurts the younger guys.
Ty Montgomery, I know.
Yeah, I think it hurts him more than it does Adams. Number 18, I got Keenan Allen versus Detroit. He's the number 1 receiver with the Chargers, and I think Phillip Rivers is going to throw the ball a lot, so I have to have him in there. Number 19, as you mentioned, Allen Robinson. He did make my top 20.
Yeah,
I think he's a target monster in Jacksonville. He's not working with much down there for Blake Bortles. He's playing Carolina. There's no reason why. I think he has at least 10 catches. I don't know if he'll score, but I think he get a lot of targets, a lot of catches. And number 20, I put Andre Johnson there because even though I respect Buffalo, Andrew Luck is going to throw the ball a lot, and he's going to be looking for Andre Johnson, his new favorite weapon down there. I think he has a better.
You think have a better year than Ty?
I think he has a better, only because I don't trust Ty to stay healthy all year, and I respect Andre Johnson.
I'm a very known non-Ty fan.
Yeah, that's the only reason I don't have him. Ty is not in there. Jeffrey's not in my top 20. Mike Evans wasn't my top 20. Just all based on injury. I don't trust that they're even going to be starting, so I went with some other guys in replace of them.
That's fair. You're going for the safe route. I'm going for the boomer bust. Apparently, I have a question from the kid in the front.
I got a question about my team. I'm looking over what I have. Charles Johnson from Minnesota. Where do you rank him at? Where's he sit at?
I'll let Teddy Bridgewater answer that question.
I love Charles Johnson as a sleeper. We didn't mention sleeper receivers. There's one right there.
San Francisco.
Charles Johnson. I think he could have a big year. In PPR, I'm not super high on him. I think he's more of a
deep guy, yeah.
Right.
But I think if you're in a standard league, Charles Johnson.
He's like a watered down Deshaun.
I'm a little light on wide receiver. I got Vincent Jackson, which I'm not too thrilled about anymore. He's old. He's done. I mean, he's not done, but he's out there. And Alshon Jeffries, he's hurt. Alshon Jeffries, right? Yeah. He's hurt. He's questionable.
Yeah, I can't start him this week because I don't.
Yeah, that's a game time decision. You need to know. You need to know ahead of time.
He's playing Green Bay.
Yeah.
You know, and the other wide receiver. Well, of course, I have Antonio Brown, which wipes everybody out. Julian Edelman. My backups aren't too good, and Charles Johnson is my only backup, along with Vincent Jackson. I think there's better players out there. I mean,
you better hope Alshon's playing.
I wouldn't be, too mad about Vincent Jackson. I mean,
no, there's worse because again, he's playing
Mike
Tennessee.
Evans doesn't play, Vincent Jackson.
I think Mike Evans is going to play.
Is gonna have targets, but if Mike Evans does play, then Vincent Jackson takes a backseat.
I mean, I know it's weird talking about a Buccaneers game with this, but I'm just hoping the Buccaneers don't run away with it, and it's just running the ball for that because
right.
If they're throwing the ball, I mean, there's only really 2 targets there. They don't really have anything else other than that. Right. So yeah, I mean, Jackson's you could do worse as a fill-in option.
Between
1,000 yards last year.
I have tight end. I have Walker for Tennessee or Larry Donnelly for
that's Donnell. And since you want to go right into tight ends, since we wouldn't mention tight ends yet, but you want to push there. When it comes to tight ends, I don't have a top 10 for you.
I'm just trying to squeeze it in before you guys got to go.
No, I understand. No, I don't have a top 10 when it comes to tight ends, and the reason is this: you play the guy you drafted. I mean, unless you're in his situation, which is very rare, you draft the tight end, and he is your tight end. It doesn't matter if Gronk is playing the best defense.
Yeah,
you're starting Gronk, you're starting Graham, you're starting the same guys on a week-to-week basis. Not too many people have a backup. If you want me, we're going to do some start 'em, sit 'em. But so if that's your question is between those two, who was the first tight end?
Delaney Walker.
Delaney Walker. I'd go Delaney Walker.
I think it's not even a question.
And who's throwing to him?
Mariota.
He's going to be probably a safety valve.
Yeah, I think I love rookies. I love tight ends
with rookie quarterbacks. Yeah, so do I.
I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Walker has a big year, possibly top 5 tight end. I think you stole him if you got him late in the draft. I
definitely stole.
Yeah, I had him top 10 too.
Right.
Like,
I would cut.
I stole him at Gerard in '95.
Yeah. I would cut the Nell, and I would use that bench spot for somebody else. Roll with Walker all year. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just worry about when it comes to the bye week. Now we got a bunch of tweets in the past week, and we got a bunch today too. I'll just throw some out to you real quick. Let's see what you think.
Okay.
He's saying we have 2 tweets actually from @BigSeth87. He says he has he starts 2 receivers in a flex. Who would you start between DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Jackson's, Julio Jones, Jarvis Landry, Kendall Wright? I think you obviously can immediately throw Kendall Wright out of the discussion. Out of those 4, I mean, you can only start 3 of those 4. I would go Hopkins, Julio Jones, and Jarvis Landry.
I think that's no brainer.
Yeah,
I don't like Deshaun at all, and those other 3 guys are much better.
I'm higher on Deshaun than you are, but not this week, and not with those guys. Also in the conversation. Also, he tweeted, he said, start him, sit him, Melvin Gordon, or Jonathan Stewart. I made that very well known. Jonathan Stewart is the guy to go with playing against Jacksonville.
I had Gordon 1 above Stewart, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. I mean, I think it's a toss-up. You're fine with either way. I mean, I think on the long haul, Stewart will have a better season, but for this week, I would maybe go Gordon.
A couple of tweets you got. Start him, sit him. Again, it's Jonathan Stewart question. At a flex spot, PPR league, Roddy White or John Stewart. This is from @Kyle Walpole.
I don't like Roddy White at all this year, so I would go Jonathan Stewart and hope he gets catches. I mean,
I do like Roddy White a little more actually than other people do, but again, John Stewart is the play. Easily the top 10 running back this week. We got another tweet here. He tweets for me and Driggins. Obviously, did not know that Driggins was not going to be here tonight. He said he drafted Eli and Tom Brady. He said based on Brady, he drafted Eli and then Brady based off Brady's suspension. But now that he's here, who does he start? I think it's pretty obvious it's Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady. I think Eli has a good game as well, but Tom Brady is who you wanted to go in week 1.
We got a little, should I make this cut question? One guy wants to know, should I cut Cody Latimer to get Matt Jones? He also has Alfred Morris. Matt Jones, of course, the backup in Washington. Are you a Matt Jones fan at all?
Not much. I think Morris has been very, very consistent over the last couple of years. I'd ride Morris and I'd keep Latimer on the bench just to see what he does with Peyton Manning before I would let him go.
I agree. When I did respond to said person, and this again was @PO815. I told him I do like Latimer, so I wouldn't recommend dropping him. But if you absolutely need the guy, then go ahead by all means make the transaction.
Right.
I think we got one more that I missed out on here. I missed it, but okay. Sorry, one more. John Brown, Eddie Royal, and James Jones. They're in the conversation for his flex spot. Who should he start? For starters, I'm sorry. That's who you're debating between
you obviously didn't go receiver.
Yeah, you obviously didn't do very well in your draft.
Too early.
Of those 3, Eddie Royal.
I love Eddie Royal. I mean, I think you lucked out. I think you picked Eddie Royal, not knowing what you were getting in Royal, but I think you could actually luck out if you start him in the flex.
So yeah, I agree. It's Eddie Royal number 1. I would say John Brown number 2, and James Jones. I don't even know if he's going to be really how much he's going to be playing this first week.
He's going to have pads on this week. I don't know. So
no, I don't.
Go Royal.
Yeah. So. Those are some of the questions. We had some more earlier, but I don't feel like digging too deep to find those. Again, you guys have any questions ever, tweet us. As you can see, we're getting a lot of them. They're coming in. It's @SportsGoombahs on Twitter. You can always call us or text us at any point during the week. We have a voicemail set up with a question out there. It's 267-563-2893. Before we go, and we had to cut it a little bit short because Pretty Boy over here has his fantasy draft 9 p.m. the day before the draft, 23 hours before the season kicks off.
Yeah, 15
he's got a draft.
Now I'm going to be on the clock and a keeper right before the start of the season. I know it's cutting it short, but hey, that's
talk about waiting until make sure there's no injuries to the last second. So
I know.
So again, you guys can check us out again next week, same time, same place. I'm assuming the audio is gonna be fine by then. Again, it's sgshow.net. Next week, 8:00. We doing same thing we're doing here, but week 2 with our ranking. Start 'em, sit 'em, questions anything you got. Also, tomorrow night, you can check us out, sgshow.net. Cashy and myself. I believe it's going to be like 7 o'clock start time. We'll throw it out there. But we're gonna be winning you money, guys. We're going to be giving NFL team over-unders for every team in the league. We're going to win some money. It's me and Cashy tomorrow night here at sgshow.net. Pat,
thank you for having me.
Thanks for
Glad
coming
to be
back.
I hope the guys didn't hate me too much this week.
If the audio is messed up, they didn't get to hear that. Somebody called you a moron.
Tweet the show. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Let me know.
Thanks, guys. And we'll check in with you next week.